Shout out to Adrian Thomas for sending me this story. And yes, this is who you think it is. Nate Parker. It has been such a very long time since I've done a video on him. And I think the last time I ever spoke about him was after the whole debacle surrounding him and his film Birth of a Nation that came out almost 3 years ago. About 2.5 going on 3 years ago. The movie that should have been the turning point of his career, not only as an actor, but also as a director, ended up going up in flames due to many entities that year. Very unfortunate that that happened to him. But guess what I have learned? Nate Parker is making a comeback via the Hip Hop Film Festival. And he has a new film called Showtime. I'm going to read this article coming from medium.com. While Mr. Parker may have been absent in front of the camera, he's still making his mark behind the scenes, most recently executive producing work by other young black men whose story are overlooked in the mainstream, but have a home within the culture. Into the award-winning Hip Hop Film Festival, whose theme for 2019 is Stories from the Culture. The festival is not a festival of hip-hop movies featuring rappers. Instead, it is a festival that provides a platform for filmmakers and content creators born after 1960, aka the hip-hop generation. The festival will premiere Mr. Parker's latest project, Showtime, directed and written by newcomer Sean Antoine II. Sean Antoine II is a 22-year-old writer, director, producer from Harlem, New York, and a former student at the Nate Parker Foundation. Antoine II's latest offering, Showtime, tells the story of Darius and Hakeem, who dance on the New York City trains to earn honest money and escape the crime-riddled streets of Harlem. As a Harlem native and daily train commuter, I was always mesmerized as kids would strut onto the train and shout Showtime, pulling off acrobatic stunts while commuters cheered and rewarded money. Showtime premieres at the Hip Hop Film Festival Saturday, August 3rd, and then it gives a website for passes. I'll post that down below. Out of 5,000 festivals in the world, the Hip Hop Film Festival is the only festival to focus on writers, directors, and producers who grew up in the global culture of hip hop. This season, the festival hosts over 100 directors, producers, and screenwriters from the United States, France, Brazil, Saudi Arabia, Canada, the UK, Russia, Switzerland, South Africa, India, Japan, Portugal, Argentina, and more. The Hip Hop Film Festival features every genre, such as mystery, sci-fi, horror, action, romance, etc., of story from filmmakers who live across the world. It is also the only film festival that seeks to share the profits with the filmmakers selected to participate. Trust me, if I was in the New York area, I would probably go there to see, not only see this film, but probably to shake hands with Nate Parker and, just speak with this man, pick his brain. But I think it's dope to know that he got completely shunned out of what should have been his year. Like 2016, when that movie came out, should have been his year. That was his defining moment. That was his crowning moment right there, and it was snatched away from him. To this day, I'm still very, very mad about that. But I'm glad that he continued to work. It is unfortunate that I don't know if he really wanted to be in front of the camera or not, but it's almost like he got forced to be more so behind the scenes because of what happened. And it's like the dust had to settle, and now this is his way of saying I'm back. But I'm glad that he not only is still working, but he's also helping other black men through his foundation that's going on. Now, see, mainstream media is not going to talk about that, but they continue to harp on what happened years ago at the time of something he was not even found guilty of. It's very unfortunate that happened. And I think it's mainly because his film was a threat And they couldn't see a film like that, that even though it was a slave narrative, it was a different type of narrative where you actually showed the fighting back of slaves against their masters, against their oppressors. Especially when Nat Turner was one of the most famous ones to lead a revolt. But I'm glad that, like I said, that he's still working and that he's pretty much, making and staging this comeback. I salute this brother, and I'm glad that he's able to help other black men achieve their dreams by any means. And before I sign out, I'm just going to say this. To all of you strag hags that had every little thing to say back in 2016 that helped aid in the sabotaging of that man's film that should have been more like his coming out party, I just have one thing to say as it pertains to now this. You will shut the entire fuck up. Don't you say shit about this. You already ruined the man once and had him up there thinking that it was his fault. Like, y'all literally broke this man down and ruined his moment because you wanted to feel bad for some white chick that was probably lying. Amazing. Now, it's funny because many of you were mad that he got with this woman who was his wife, who was this white woman, quote unquote. But y'all literally came to the aid of a deceased white woman who most likely lied. How does that make you look? That's all I have to say about this right now. Congratulations again to Nate Parker and to this brother. His name is Sean. What did he say his name was? Excuse me. Let's scroll down. Sean Antoine II, 22 years old. And I think that's a dope concept to talk about the commuters on the New York City Metro subway, because they do be dancing and doing acrobatics on those subway lines. I remember experiencing that at least one time when I've been to New York. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you in the next one.